Hey, so when Stephen Miller said that Trump has plenary authority, that just means that Donald Trump is officially a dictator. Nobody has plenary authority in the United States of America. Sure, different branches have plenary authority over specific things, but to say that the President of the United States has plenary authority is to say that he is a dictator. There's a reason why he froze, and that's because the little earpiece in his ear said, "Shut the fuck up, Stephen." That's for next week.
Right now, Donald Trump is having an Antifa roundtable, and it is solid gold bars, I swear to God. I had to take a break from it just because there's so much hilarious content to cover. Okay, first you had, like, communism in the 60s and 70s, and then you had terror in the 2000s, and now you've got Donald Trump's natural enemy that he's got to save the world from, Antifa. Christie, okay, they take, like, similar to all these roundtables, they all take turns, like, blah, 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 to the president, right? And Christie Noem gets up and she says, Antifa is equal to ISIS. ISIS? Damn, girl, you calling them ISIS? Listen, first of all, as a proud Antifa member, I am not an Islamic fundamentalist hell-bent on jihad. That is crazy. Second of all, okay, so Kash Patel comes up. He's talking about, we've got all these prosecutions. We've got the girlfriend of the Antifa founder. He says they're going to be crushed by the Constitution. And then, in that same breath, Donald Trump talks about, we're going to make flag burning illegal because it's an incitement to violence. But what he doesn't tell you is, as he brings on a journalist, a right-wing journalist who was arrested in Portland for assaulting somebody. So this guy somebody's burning a flag, which is their free speech right. This journalist assaults them and gets arrested. Well, Donald Trump claims they have to ban flag burning because it's an incitement to violence, without telling you that the incitement to violence is from his team. Like, tell your homies to control themselves and there won't be any violence, you dumb bastard. And oh man, okay, we'll come back with a part 2. I got to go back to this shit. It's amazing.
All right, Trumpers, come and get me. Hey, listen, I got something for you, but here's what I think as soon as I hear this. This is the best we've got. Take a listen.
Hooyah, Navy! Hooyah, Navy! Hooyah, Navy! Hooyah!
What the fuck is all that? Like, I understand what it is. It's like a chant. I got it. But she sounds like she's scared. This administration, I said this back in November and December, it's literally like the circus. And you don't know what the fuck you're going to get. You walk in this tent, you get a 7-foot giant. You walk in this tent, you get somebody with no arms or something. You don't know what the fuck you're getting with this administration. I don't even know if why the hell was she even up there, Melania? Like, I thought she was going to get some divorce from this guy when he's done with being the president. Like, Donald Trump has absolutely made us the laughing stock of the United States. And it is so sad. And anybody that I see with a sticker, a hat, a shirt, any damn thing, again, I question your insanity. I question your character. I question your judgment, because you're letting this man make America look weak and immature when we should be one of the strongest countries, and we're one of the weakest right now. So thank you for doing that to us. You should give yourself a pat on the back.
So I know everybody is annoyed right now because the government is shut down. And one of the things that they're arguing about in the government is healthcare and insurance. And unfortunately, I am going to be one of the people that is probably going to have to drop my insurance because I won't be able to afford it. And I just went to the pharmacy right now to pick up my medications. I had a stroke a year ago. And one of my medications, if I don't have insurance, is going to cost $325 a month. Like, I'm laughing out of nervousness right now. And the reason why I won't be able to afford my insurance is because I'm self-employed. So it already costs me a fortune out of my pocket. I mean, what the fuck? You guys, we got to pay attention, because this is not just about immigrants getting free things, which they're not. This is not just about emergency rooms getting paid for the services that they provide for people in dire straits. Like, you guys, we have to pay attention, because I know that I'm not the only one out there that's going to suffer. I guess I've been thinking about this deeply. Like, God forbid I can't afford my prescriptions. I guess because I live in California, I can drive to Tijuana and go to a pharmacy there and get things for a fraction of the cost. I mean, what are you guys going to do? What's your plan?
In a not so shocking move, Trump has called for the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, to be jailed, along with J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, for failing to allegedly protect ICE in Chicago. Guys, this is just crazy. A president of the United States calling for his political opponents to be jailed. This is un-American, it's autocratic, and should not be normalized in this country. We have to call it out for what it is and cannot make this sort of rhetoric normal, because with Trump, once it becomes normalized, it becomes real. And then these people do end up in jail. So it cannot be allowed. It has to be stopped now. We have to spread awareness of this, of how wrong it is for someone to do this, especially the President of the United States. And it also just displays how crazy he is, how untethered to reality he is, and how possibly the 25th Amendment should be invoked, as J.B. Pritzker had said. I mean, this just displays it right there. Let me know if you agree. Like, comment, let me know, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
Donald Trump is now calling for the arrest of the Chicago mayor as well as Governor Pritzker.
Lieutenant, arrest that man!
And while some people might just write this off as Trump tweeting once again, we cannot normalize this behavior. In fact, if you look at a lot of what Donald Trump has done this term, it is unprecedented in our history as a country. And in fact, if you really analyze this, this is just a speed run to authoritarianism. And if you look at Trump's previous tweets, they're not just tweets and true social posts. Comey has been indicted. He's had TV hosts canceled, either permanently or temporarily, simply because he does not agree with them. In fact, what it seems like what's really going on is Trump is trying to make it illegal to disagree with him. And if not illegal, at least pseudo-illegal, where if you do disagree with him, you are penalized, either in your career or with false indictments or other false charges, just to get you to shut up. This behavior cannot be normalized. If you like personal finance, world economics, investing, breaking news, and politics, you're in the right place.
The leverage point to keep the government shut down is he literally wants to reimburse hospitals more money for treating illegal aliens than American citizens. Fact. Go look it up. Go look on the website. Don't take my word for it. We're not doing that. If you're a young, pregnant American citizen woman who shows up in an ER and you get treated and they pay the hospital less for treating you than some illegal rabble-rouser who came in from some, South American country to do us harm, that is wrong. The Republican Party stands for common sense.
The Speaker of the House just said Democrats wants to reimburse hospitals more for treating illegal aliens from South America. And then he called them illegal rabble-rousers. So let's talk about that. First off, he's talking about EMTALA, a law that says hospitals must treat anyone in an emergency no matter where they're from. It's been law since the 80s. It's what keeps people from dying just because you can't pay. Now, when hospitals treat people who don't have insurance, including undocumented immigrants, they lose money. So sometimes the government reimburses the hospital, not the patient. That money keeps hospitals open for everyone, including citizens. So when the Speaker of the House says we're not going to pay hospitals more for treating illegal immigrants, what exactly is he saying? We'd rather let hospitals struggle financially than make sure everyone in crisis gets care. And they call that common sense? And I'm sorry, comparing a young, pregnant American citizen to an illegal rabble-rouser from South America, that's not politics. That's fear. That's painting one group as pure and deserving and the other dangerous and less human. That's how you divide people. That's how you get folks angry at the wrong target instead of asking why hospitals are underfunded in the first place. Healthcare shouldn't depend on where you're born. It's not Americans versus immigrants. It's about hospitals making sure they can treat everyone who walks through those doors. Because someday that person in the ER might be you. Common sense shouldn't mean cruelty.
Donald Trump just announced that he is fully funding the WIC program for new mothers and babies that need supplemental formula and nutrition with the $200 billion he's generated from tariffs.
Lock in, fuck niggas. We about to fact check this shit. First, if you fuck with me, make sure you check out that podcast. Let's get it. What the hell is he talking about? Donald Trump cannot fund government-funded programs if the government is shut down. I mean, that would literally defeat the whole purpose of a government shutdown. And if Donald Trump wants to fund WIC, he would have to go to Congress to let them fund WIC, which means they would have to pass a continuing resolution bill to fund WIC. But what's really sad is that conservatives are happy that Donald Trump is going to try to help pregnant women and children. But these are the same pregnant women and children that's going to lose their Medicaid because of the one big beautiful bill. Because if you didn't know, 8 million women have WIC because they're part of Medicaid and SNAP. And because of the one big beautiful bill, WIC has announced that almost 3 million women and children are going to lose their WIC benefit because they're going to lose their Medicaid. Meaning the 10.5 million people that's going to lose their Medicaid, a quarter of them are going to be women and children, and they're going to also lose their WIC. So in other words, Republicans need to stop playing and negotiate with the Democrats.
So we have arrived at domestic terrorism being okay now in the United States. Yesterday, Judge Diane Goodstein had her house firebombed. Her husband and their grandchild were injured trying to escape. Fortunately, nobody was killed. This was the culmination of a week's worth of her receiving death threats and being doxxed by the White House regime and conservative followers, because she ruled about a week ago that it was not legal for the White House to obtain the South Carolina voter rolls, which they were requesting. That would actually have contained, those rolls would have had partial social security numbers, names, addresses, phone numbers of all the voters in South Carolina, along with their party affiliation. So no, that's all personal sensitive information that can't be released, and that was what she ruled. So rightly so. But Stephen Miller didn't like that, and within hours issued a statement that what she had done was an illegal rebellion, and that her and another judge who recently ruled against them, who was actually a Trump appointee, were left-wing terrorists, his words, and that their actions needed to have account, and that somebody should hold them accountable for the decisions that they had made. So lo and behold, one of their followers took it upon themselves to firebomb her house. I think what's most disturbing out of this is what was not said. This was not condemned, and this was not denounced by the White House regime. It was not denounced by DOJ. It was not denounced by Homeland Security and Kristi Noem. There's no statement that has come out of ATF about this, basically condemning domestic terrorism. So it's a dog whistle that this just got green-lighted by the regime, that it's okay to go ahead and go after and attack and physically destroy property and attempt to harm people when people disagree with the White House regime and their actions and their requests. So this is not good. It's just another checkbox on the authoritarian checklist that we've seen so much since this all started about 9 months ago. Seems like a lifetime. And we've got 3+ years to go. So not good, not good.
Well, remember when Donald Trump said he would never cut Social Security? Guess what? He lied. The Trump administration is about to make it nearly impossible for older Americans to get Social Security disability benefits. This is essentially a proposal to make some Americans work until they die. Right now, when you apply for disability benefits, the Social Security Administration considers your age, work experience, and education. If you're over 50, you have a better shot at qualifying because the system recognizes you're less able to adapt to new types of work. But Trump's plan would either eliminate age as a factor entirely or raise the threshold to age 60. Think about what that means. A 55-year-old construction worker with a wrecked back would be told to figure it out and go learn to code or something. If this rule reduces eligibility by just 10%, 500,000 people would lose benefits over the next decade. 80,000 widows and children would lose benefits because their spouse or parent was denied. That's $82 billion less in benefits to people who paid into the system their entire lives. And here's the cruel part. Research shows that most older Americans who get denied disability benefits don't find another job. Instead, they are forced to take early retirement at 62, which means 30% less in benefits for the rest of their lives. And y'all, this comes as the Social Security Administration is already a complete disaster under Trump and Doge. Call centers are now wildly short-staffed, and your calls will take forever to be answered, but you won't hear about it. Why? Because the administration is hiding data showing how badly service has declined. All of our most sensitive personal data has been uploaded to an insecure cloud server, and this summer they started clawing back unintentional overpayments in a way that is literally leaving seniors and people with disabilities with no money to pay their rent and their grocery bills. Let's be clear about what's happening here. Trump and this guy, Russell Vought, at the Office of Management and Budget, they are gutting the safety net. They're making it harder for disabled Americans to get the benefits they have earned. They are forcing older workers to keep working even when their bodies are breaking down. Senator Ron Wyden called this the largest cut to disability insurance in American history. He also said that this is just phase one of Republican plans to force Americans to work into old age. If you're not calling your representatives about this, you should really start, because this could be you, could be me, it could be someone we love someday. Republicans want you to work until the day you die. Don't let them get away with it.
We are entering the 8th day in this government shutdown debacle, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. In fact, Democrats and Republicans keep voting on their version of the CR, and it keeps failing because in the Senate, you need 60 votes. And of course, neither side of the political aisle has those 60 votes. So you literally need people from the other side of the aisle to join you to pass a CR. And of course, right now, because there is so much political tension and political divide, neither side wants to come to the negotiating table and offer compromises. So instead, we are stuck on the 8th day of a government shutdown. Now, once again, remember, the longest a government shutdown has ever been was during Trump's last term. 35 days. So hopefully this is less than that, but of course there's a first for everything. I will keep you up to date when it comes to this as well as everything else you need to know as best as I can. I will provide you an update when this government shutdown ends. But right now, it seems like it's going to drag out for quite some time longer.
On September 30th, the Adjutant General for the state of Oregon, one Brigadier General Alan R. Gronwald, sat before a state Senate subcommittee and took questions about the Oregon National Guard and questions about the federalization of it. And during that time, he said the two companies in question would be trained in proper crowd control, protective crowd control, and that the purpose of the National Guard soldier is to serve two purposes. 1, defend America. 2, to protect Oregonians. And so by serving in this mission, they will be protecting any protesters at the ICE facility. Now, the mission in question would be to federalize the National Guard in the state of Oregon to deploy before federal buildings to protect them from some horrendous criminal activity and riots that were not happening. So, Brigadier General Gronwald went on and made multiple remarks throughout this, but he understands his oath, and he understands that his Guard members are just members of the community that are doing a mission as assigned. And he wanted to remind lawmakers of that. And so he left his remarks with them as this: we're the home team, and our job is to protect and serve Oregonians, and we follow lawful orders, and that's what we're doing. He said, please treat them with dignity and respect, because to deploy the National Guard to protect federal buildings is lawful. To deploy them in a peacekeeping role where they arrest and act in law enforcement activities is not a lawful order. That is not a lawful mission. And in a letter to troops the day before, on September 29th, Brigadier General Gronwald said this: I know some of you have strong feelings about this mission. That's okay. You are citizens first, but you're also service members who took an oath to support and defend the Constitution and follow the orders of the President and the Governor. That oath doesn't come with an asterisk that says only when I agree with the mission. So, Brigadier General Gronwald understands what's going on. He understands what's lawful. He understands what's not. He understands his role, and that is to protect all citizens and all U.S. citizens inside the state of Oregon, even if that means protecting protesters at an ICE facility where the federal government says there's riots going on.